Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Welcome to another episode of Claws to the Wall. I am your host, Isayah Garner. I am joined by my lovely co-hosts, Justin Brown, Koby Jackson, and we have a returning guest, Kayla Guillory. So we are here. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful weekend. We're here to recap that weekend. We're going to start off, of course, y'all know how we do. We're going to start off with Texas State basketball. Going to start with the women this time. They were on a 5-game winning streak up until their most recent loss to Appalachian State. So my question for y'all, they're 6th in the Sun Belt right now. They have 2 games left against Arkansas State on Thursday and Little Rock on Saturday. So I want to ask y'all, they had a strong little streak going. They had a strong little finish, but was it too little, too late? Whoever wants to answer that question first.
I don't think so. I mean, look, the way this seeding works here is they're 6th seed right now, obviously, but going into a tournament, anything can happen. It's a one and done type of thing. We've seen upsets in, other tournaments like March Madness and such. So I really don't think it's over for them. I think they have some really good things. Like, for example, they're the best 3-point defense in the league in the Sun Belt Conference, which is really important, especially these days. And especially if we're looking at their next matchup against Arkansas State, a team that they beat already this season. They're going to play them at home in Strahan, and Arkansas State has the highest 3-point percentage and the most 3-point attempts out of any team in the Sun Belt Conference. And I think it's pretty good that we have the best 3-point defense. If we can shut down that offensive plan, get an easy dub, and then we don't have to worry much about Little Rock. I mean, maybe we do. We'll see what's their standing right now. Little Rock is 3rd, and they're on a 6-game win streak. So you have to worry about that game coming up as well. But the Strahan Arena has been a place for our teams to win, men and women both. So I don't think it's over for them yet. I'm excited to see how they'll do in the Sun Belt tournament.
Yeah, same here. And I know I said it earlier in the podcast earlier on when I was on here that I thought it was a little too late. But I mean, after that 5-game winning streak, I mean, you have hope now. So I hope these two last games can really define themselves, because like you said, anything can happen in a tournament, no matter if it's March Madness or your conference or you're battling for your conference. Anything could happen. So I mean, I would love for them, finish strong on a high note. I know the season's kind of been a little wishy-washy, but I would love to have them end their season on a high note, most definitely.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off what you said, Koby, we saw the 5-game win streak, so they can do it. It's just they got to get back on track. So I mean, I have the utmost faith in them. I know they can get it back together and win these last 2 at home.
Yeah, and if they want to keep this up, they have a big off game last game against App State. It's not every day that Denasia Hood only gets 8 points and Kennedy Taylor only gets 6. Kennedy Taylor, I don't know if y'all have heard, but she is, in my opinion, is the GOAT on this team. She's leading in steals, assists, and minutes in the whole entire Sun Belt Conference. And she had 6 turnovers, and that is not going to be able to get it done. I think it was a big defensive emphasis from App State on Denasia Hood and Kennedy Taylor. They know that's the 1-2 punch on this team. But they were able to get it into the paint to Jada Reed, and she is a really good she is like the center for this team. She's the muscle in this team. She's great backup for Lauren Thompson. But they're going to really have to pick up the scoring with Denasia Hood and Kennedy Taylor and be able to get them going offensively if they want to get back on a win streak before the tournament.
Yeah, because that was actually the point I was going to. Denasia Hood shooting 3 for 13. That's not going to happen every week. Tiana Eaton was probably their best spark plug. She scored 13, went 5 for 11. But as the team, they only shot 38.5%. That's not something they usually do. That's not going to happen. The only reason I asked, was it too little too late, was because we've seen their season go where they'll win some games in a row and then they'll lose some games in a row, and then they'll win 3 and lose 2, so it was kind of just trying to find that balance and consistency. But no, you guys are absolutely right. I've been at a couple of games. I've seen them on their win streak. I've seen the way they're playing now as opposed to when they played earlier in the season and towards the start of conference play. So they definitely have a chance. Like you said, once you get to the tournament, anything can happen. But if they're definitely going to make some noise in the tournament and put themselves in the best position possible, that game against, I believe you said Troy in the net, or Little Rock, on Saturday, those are the ones, Arkansas State, even though they've already beat them, they got to secure those wins. And this is just a matter of, playing the way we know they can play. They had 2 games against UT Arlington back-to-back, close games, both of them, but unfortunately they ended out short. So hopefully in those close games, but we've also seen them win a 3 overtime game and an overtime game. So I think they know what it's going to be like to be in a high pressure situation. And so I think for me, it's really just a matter about finishing when they know it's right there. I think they have a really good shot. Like you said, it's anyone's game. Moving on to the men's, though, they are currently on a 7-game win streak and first in the Sun Belt Conference right now. They played their last 2 games this week as well. South Alabama on Wednesday, who's currently 5th in the Sun Belt, and Troy on Friday, who is currently 3rd in the Sun Belt. So my question for y'all, are the Texas State men's team, are they the favorites to win this Sun Belt tournament? We've seen, a couple tough losses, early in the season. We've seen some great wins during conference play, so that's my question to y'all. Do y'all think Texas State should be looked at as the favorites to win the Sun Belt tournament?
I believe so, 100%. Okay, this team is first in three-point percentage, they're first in field goal percentage, they're first in free throw percentage in the whole entire Sun Belt. Okay, they have the largest win streak of any other team right now with 7. Georgia State has 5. Okay, this team is the favorite of the Sun Belt Conference. This team is being led by a bunch of seniors, if you look at it. And what would you want more from your seniors? They're last year and they're putting everything on the floor. Some of them do have eligibility because, the COVID year, they get an extra year of eligibility. But like we've seen Shelby Adams, for example, Mr. Bobcat himself, according to Coach TJ, he has most career games played for any other Texas State basketball player ever. I mean, he's getting it done as well. But I will say there's things to worry about with these next 2 games. The next game they have is South Alabama, okay? And that's next Wednesday. And I am nervous about it because South Alabama has 12-1 at home, okay? They're 12-1 at home. We're playing them away. We're 12-1 at home as well. We're a good home team as well, but we're going to have to be able to get something done differently than the past 12 teams that walked in there, okay? And then when they play Troy, that's a big game as well. And we're the favorite team in the league if we're getting coverage on ESPN2, okay? We're going to be on national television. That's a lot on these guys, obviously getting that exposure, and they're going to need to be able to deliver on the big scene like that. So, but I do believe we're the team to win it. We are the exciting team of the year. They're doing great. They're on a great win streak. We have a bunch of good seniors that are getting it done. Caleb Asbury's is doing amazing. Mason Harrell's amazing. People are doing really good this year. So I think we are the team to win it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like you said, first in the Sun Belt. The one thing I always liked about this team is that they do not they don't collapse in any situation. I know they've had just a few losses this past season, but they know how to go through adversity. And that's something I think should happen on any team, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, you name it. Anytime they're down, they're just so calm and cool. Like it's the most insane thing. And like you said, Caleb Asbury, Mason Harrell, Isaiah Small, them guys are doing like what they're supposed to do, and that's to win. It's a team effort. I know it's a team effort, but like you said, big time favorite. I really am hoping that they can really win this tournament because I believe if they get these 2 games, there are going to be teams in the tournament that are going to be tough to beat these guys. So I highly, highly favorite in the Sun Belt.
Yeah, I favor them too. And I also think it says a lot about the team when Coach TJ said he's sometimes able to sit back and let them kind of coach themselves and he trusts them. So yeah, even in the Saturday game, like they came out strong. They had like a 14 scoring streak. But then Little Rock ended up coming back, but they were so calm about it. And then just ended up coming back in the second half and just extending that lead. So they're honestly so fun to watch. I'm rooting for them. I mean, they're doing great.
Yeah, I agree with all of y'all's points. I think the teams that they're going to have to worry about in this Sun Belt Conference are going to be Appalachian State and Troy. First time they played Troy, they lost 78-63. They only shot, I believe, below 40% from the field. They played Appalachian State and they won by 2. That was a close game. So, they're Troy is kind of looking at that like, look, we're 3rd in the Sun Belt, but we've beaten these guys before. So they have that confidence. I think Texas State looking at them like, hey, look, we've already lost to these guys. Anything can happen. So I think they're going to be locked in. I think they're going to be focused, especially because it's going to be a road game this time. I think they understand, like, hey, look, we're first right now, but we need to keep that. We need to have, because everybody always wants the first. That's what you play for. You want to be the first seed. You want to have the best road to the championship as possible. And I think them winning against Troy is going to help solidify that, because a loss here, then they start. That's the last game of the season. So unless some crazy stuff happens and we find out on Wednesday that they've clinched it no matter what, that if that game can determine whether you go from first, whether you go to second, possibly even the third. So I think that's going to be really important for them. But I think they've got it. You guys have all touched on it. The way they play as a team, the way they're calm, cool, and collected in crunch moments and clutch situations. I think that's going to really help them. So, well, obviously anything can happen in the tournament, but you play these games to get the best seeding possible, and I think they're definitely going to have a chance to do that. But
Yeah, I completely agree with your point about them playing as a team. And it's very obvious that they're playing as a team when you see that their last match, they had 29 bench points. And the game before that, they had 22. Okay, you have players scoring way down on the bench. And that means that the chemistry, it doesn't even matter who's on the floor, who your personnel is. The game plan is staying the same. Coach TJ John, Terrence Johnson does a great job at coaching these boys. He lets them, he also, I like how you brought that up, Kayla. He sits back and lets the seniors, lets these guys officiate themselves and talk about how they're going to play to the best of their ability, and they get it done. 29 bench points is a huge number, and to have people scoring that far down on the bench shows that everyone is in the same mindset about taking this team really far, and they're all really in a good game plan, and they're really doing quite well offensively. So I think that's a really good stat line to look at. Their bench points is really good.
And that just goes to show you how everybody's bought into the team mentality. When your coach can sit back and just, hey, I trust y'all got it. That, I mean, at least for me as a player, that always instilled confidence in me. So I can only imagine, especially when you've been here already, especially those guys that were here last year, when you've been here already and you know what to expect, and you know that y'all have the potential. When your coach when you see that your coach believes it too, it's just a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like sitting next to the court, like, I was taking pictures of that last game. You can hear Isaiah Small. You hear these players yelling out these plays before, like, for example, when the other team was at Little Rock was shooting free throws, you could hear Isaiah Small the whole time chirping about what the play is going to be as soon as they're done with those free throws. He's already yelling it. He's already yelling the play. And that just shows like their communication is so important on this team, and they're all bought in. And I think this team is going to be quite scary for a lot of other teams going into this Sun Belt tournament. And if they get it, they only need, I heard about this when we were in the post game room, that they only need one more win to clinch their first seed spot. Okay, they have to win one of these two games. If they don't win one of these two games, they don't clinch it. So they have to win one of them. That's all they have to do is win one. So they either have to beat South Alabama, which would be scary because they're 12-1 at home. This team is really powerful at home, or they can beat Troy, which I think they can do, and it'd be awesome to see it on ESPN too. So yeah, see how they do.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can clinch it before they get to Troy. Because again, I at least in my eyes, I feel like Troy's probably the scarier matchup because they've already lost to him. I mean, they might be more hungry. They might want to see him, but I would definitely try to get this South Alabama win out the way, especially because the first game got canceled. They haven't seen him yet. Yeah, so they can have film all they want. They haven't played him yet. They haven't been on the court with him yet. So it's definitely going to be important for them to get that win out the way. And hey, clinching the first seed, that's always going to be the best option. So switching gears, moving on, obviously, this past weekend was All-Star weekend in the NBA. We had 3-point contest, skills challenge, dunk contest, obviously the All-Star game. Just want to get your quick thoughts on your favorite moments of the All-Star weekend, your most disappointing, just quick thoughts on that real quick.
Man, I could have turned off the dunk contest to watch the weather. But the best thing about the All-Star weekend, the game was great, obviously, but watching Twitter, looking at the memes during the dunk contest, that was just had me rolling on the floor. It was quite fun. But yeah, no, I think we need to start either changing the dunk contest or maybe adding a 1v1 contest instead, because it's kind of hard for these players to make up some dunks that we've never seen before. But that was a big highlight of my All-Star weekend.
That's funny that you mentioned the 1v1 tournament, because I was really thinking to myself, like, should they really have a 1v1 or a 3-on-3 or a 3-on-3 or something Like, but honestly, yeah, that was the disappointing part was the dunk contest. But the best part of All-Star Weekend to me was Karl Anthony Towns winning the 3-point
Yes,
contest.
sir.
That was
Ew.
that was
Tell Isaiah
serious.
Ew.
That was seriously impressive. I'm so serious. For a big man to win a 3-point contest like that and to score 29 points, almost busting 30, that was impressive. Seriously, very
Isaac, your
impressive.
thoughts on that?
It was adorable.
Oh man, but no. Other than that, the Karl Anthony Towns winning, and then obviously Steph Curry having 50 points, shooting 17 threes at the All-Star game last night. I mean, it was just awesome. I enjoyed the All-Star weekend.
I'm gonna have to copy on the 3-point contest. That was my favorite. I thought Trey was gonna win, because he's a shooter. But I was like, dude, you're not doing so hot right now. But when they were shooting, when Luke Kennard was shooting, I was like, he's actually doing pretty good. And then Karl went, I was like, yeah, he got it.
And
Yeah, I guess the most disappointing part was the dunk. I didn't even watch it. I was just watching memes. I saw Shaq not good. I saw Dwayne Wade hold up a 6. I was like, oh my gosh, no. I didn't even watch it, to be honest.
it hurt for me. I'm a huge Rockets fan. Seeing Jalen Green take like 6 minutes to do one dunk, I was like, man, where's the time limit at? Like everyone's sitting, like the fans just got tired of standing up for him. But yeah, no, I think the reason why Cat won that is because a lot of the other players in the 3-point contest, they're jump shooters. You know what I mean? They changed their release going into.
I was gonna say he didn't even have to jump, right?
Yeah. He doesn't jump when he shoots threes. It's all wrist and arm action, and you're not really changing that release that often. When you're, a jump shooter like Zach LaVine, he's a catch and shoot type of guy, and he really wasn't. I mean, it didn't look like he had the same form as he usually had, and that's what D Wade was saying while he was watching him. But yeah, Cat did great, very good. I love that.
I'm gonna touch on this because I don't know if anybody else does this, and it's probably only me, but the dunk contest was so bad to the point where I had to rewatch the whole contest in 2016 with Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon.
That's exactly where I was going with it. That's exactly where I was going with it.
I didn't know if anybody else did that but me, but something's got to change, man. I just don't know what to do with that.
This is why I stopped watching the dunk contest. So I feel like they just get random names to do it because first off, why is John Morant not in the dunk contest?
Thank you.
Why is like I don't know, like that to me, like when I think, all right, we're gonna have a dunk contest, I want people who are bouncy with it. I want people who like John Morant. I can't think of any other names, but John Morant immediately, I'm like, why is it not in the dunk contest?
Well, it comes down to the player. A lot of the players that, like John Morant, he would have 100% have an offer, and I bet Cleveland offered it. But a lot of the players that they turned down that offer because they don't want to risk being injured. Like they already have such an impactful season. That's why we put like rookies from
the All-Star game.
Yeah, but they're not dunking like 15 times. Like they don't want to risk being injury. A lot of it, their agents are like, "No, Ja, you're not going to."
That first half was nothing but just here, blow by, go dunk. They can do that.
It was beautiful. It was
with no defense on any. So that's my point with dunk contest. I think another point to the dunk contest. I think people know that it's bull crap. I'm not gonna say what I want to say, but I think people know it's bull crap. A simple reason why. Why is Aaron Gordon not a 2-time slam dunk champion?
Yeah, I know.
I know, man.
Like I love Zach LaVine. But Aaron Gordon, he lifted his legs up over that little mascot. Boom, first try. Why that should have won. That should have won.
That would have won
Aaron Gordon, and then Aaron Gordon came back 2 years later
and still
should have won that.
Don't talk ball, bro.
Because Dwayne Wade wanted to give it to his boy that he played with, Derrick Jones Jr. If y'all look up that there's a series that goes on about what should have happened. Carmen talks about it. Dwayne Wade was supposed to give a certain number, and he changed it. Ever since then, I was like, I'm done with the dunk contest. Yeah. Never watching it again. 3-point is cool because threes are cool. That's what it is. But Cat winning, I could care less. You want to know why? You want to know why I could care less about Cat winning?
Why?
Because Nate Robinson was in a dunk contest one year. I think he's, what is he, like a 3-time champion? Ain't nobody out here talking about Nate Robinson, greatest dunk. Everybody calling Cat best shooting big man of all time because he won a 3-point contest. Bruh, I could hit 29 threes on a good day. I can hit 29 threes on a good day.
Bro,
on a good day.
No defense, and you just put balls in front of me. I can't sit back there and lace a couple. Please. Man, don't.
Bro, we're holding you accountable now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Camera's off. You making 29.
I put them on. Put them on. I make 30. I make 30. Ain't nobody finna call me the greatest shooter of all time.
I might.
No, man. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to get off of Cat. Yeah. Matter of fact, we gonna get.
I mean, I'm not saying he's the best big man like 3-point shooter ever. I'm just saying it was just impressive for him as a big man to win it. You know what I mean? Because you normally just don't see that in the NBA very often. So that's the only reason why. But I don't consider him like the greatest big man to shoot threes. No, absolutely not.
I don't know. I saw a lot of Cat best shooting big man of all time. Cat this, Cat that. Let me tell y'all about Karl Anthony Towns. Okay. And whoever, if y'all listening on Spotify, Apple, I want y'all to hear me when I say this. I'm going to say this absolutely clear. Karl Anthony Towns is the most unimpactful player in the league today. Unimpactful. Listen to those words. I'm not saying he's not good. He cool. You know, he dropped a little 24 and 10. That's adorable. He is the most unimpactful player in the league. And let me tell you why. Karl Anthony Towns, in y'all opinion, is considered the third best center in the league, right? Third best behind Jokic and Embiid. And if we're counting Anthony Davis healthy as a center, then behind Anthony Davis, right? Y'all could 3-4, right? Y'all would consider Karl Anthony Towns there, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be this guy. People calling him a star, almost want to call him a superstar. Why is the only time he's made the playoffs is when he had somebody significantly better than him on the team?
And what year was that when they made the playoffs last time?
Whatever year Jimmy Butler was there.
It was 2017, I believe.
17 or 18, because I know they traded Zach LaVine to get Jimmy. And Zach LaVine won the contest, the dunk contest as a Timberwolf. So it was after that. So whatever year Jimmy Butler was there, right? They made the playoff by the skin of their teeth. By the skin of their teeth, mind you. They had to beat Denver in game 82. I know, because I was watching that game live.
They still had Wiggins, right?
Yeah. Jimmy, Wiggins. They have, I'm almost positive Ricky Rubio was on the team still.
So Isaiah, you think the T-Wolves are making the playoffs this year? Do you think so or no?
I think so? They're 8 seed right now? So they're making the play-in. So they're making the play-in, so they can still lose, right?
Yeah.
So because of this new system, for me, if you got top 6 seed, you have a chance to lose. Because the Grizzlies made it to the playoffs last year as a 10 seed, right?
You're right.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So this year, if they're 8 seed right now, the way I see it, make top 6, I'll give you some more credit. Because if you make 7 or 8 and you lose, you didn't make the playoffs. And then I'm going to still sit here and I'm going to say he is the most unimpactful. Everybody wants to talk about stats. I have people telling me he's top 10 in PER all time. That's adorable. That's great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
You know, some people also like to argue that, you know, if he is one of the best 3-point big men of all time, that means that he doesn't have a good enough bag to play in the paint. Mm-hmm. And that's a big point that a lot of people like to bring up. Like, okay, you're going to have to shoot 3-pointers that no one's blocking you on because you can't work it down low. So that is a point of emphasis some players like to put. But obviously, he's not the best one of all time. Brooke Lopez actually is leading in 3-pointers for big men of all time with first place. But, you know, we'll see what Cat can do. You're right. He has not had a lot of success as he's been on that team for years. I will agree with you on that.
And my thing is, because everybody wants to come at me. They're like, oh, but the Timberwolves roster, I'm like, that's why I said unimpactful. Because you can drop 24 and 10, but you can't make playoffs with that roster. The roster they had the year before Jimmy and the one they had the year after. Why are you not a playoff team with those? Why are you under 500 with those? I'm sorry. He can win a he's never going to be the number one option on the championship team. He was borderline the number 3 option when Jimmy was there. I'll give him 2 because I don't want to be nasty today. But he could have been, because Wiggins was still there. It was Jimmy and Wiggs. So he could have been a number 3 option. So all I'm saying is the one time you made the playoffs, you was a second, third option. Somebody significantly better than you was on the team. The year before and the year after, you couldn't do nothing with it. And they're like, oh, well, the team is trash and all that. I've seen Chris Paul take a worse roster to a 5 seed in the West.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
In the West.
Yep.
Right, all this talk about seeding and stuff and the playoffs. Who do you think's winning in the West and East?
Chris Paul is out 6 to 8 weeks. That's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the broken thumb.
That's tough. So their matchup, I don't know if they're going to still finish a top seed or a top 2 seed. Because Chris Paul, I mean, let's remember, other than that little 8-0 stint in the bubble, the Suns were regarded as, hey, they got D Booker, they got Ayton, but they're not winning. They went 8-0 in the bubble. Chris Paul got their 2 seed in the West.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chris Paul, he might not have played 82 games, but he ain't missing 6 to 8 weeks. Now, granted, I think they've learned a little more. I think they know how to win now.
Yeah.
But Warriors and Grizzlies are still healthy.
Yes.
Personal favorite? Oh, that's tough. I want to say the Warriors because the Nuggets aren't healthy.
Yeah.
Because if Jamal Murray, I love Michael Porter Jr., but let's just take him out of it. If Jamal Murray was healthy and he had like a full, even 60 games under his belt, the Nuggets would be a problem. The Nuggets might be a top seed in the West. So I'm gonna give it to the Warriors right now because Draymond, he'll be back. They'll be fine. Them little shooting slumps they talk about, Clay will be back in playoff form. He won't be on a minutes restriction. They'll be fine. But Chris Paul missing all them games, and then he got to get back in basketball shape.
What's your Western Conference final? Is it going to be Warriors Suns? Is that what you're thinking?
That's what I thought before Chris Paul got hurt. Somebody might catch him if Chris Paul, because he's not even coming back. He said they're being reevaluated. So if Chris Paul isn't there for that first round matchup, because I believe they're a 2 seed or a 1 seed, right? So let's just say they end up as a 2 seed and the Grizzlies stay as a 3. Grizzlies against Suns without Chris Paul? Hey, I don't know about that. Yeah, right now they're 1.
Mm-hmm.
So without Chris Paul in the second round matchup, that's tough. I have to give it to the Grizzlies. They'll beat. Let's just say they're 1 and 2, they'll beat whoever makes it 7-8. The Timberwolves, don't get me started. They'll sweep the Clippers or the Lakers. The Blazers are 10 right now. They're not making it. Nobody else is a threat. They'll make it past the first round. But if they gotta face, if the Phoenix gotta face without Chris Paul, either the Grizzlies, maybe even Dallas in the second round. That one's tough. They're definitely not beating the Warriors without Chris Paul.
Okay, so so if you could make a really early prediction, your winners of the West and the East, what would it be right now? And then we'll go around and get Kobe's, get Kayla's, get mine.
It's got to be Warriors out the West.
You're saying East and what? Like East?
No.
Conference
What do you think your finals is going to be? Who knows?
Yeah, so I got Warriors coming out the West. And in the East, it's not Brooklyn for sure.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, no.
It's not Brooklyn. It's not Brooklyn.
Get Brooklyn out of here, bro. I don't want to hear about them.
I'm going to go Chicago.
Yeah,
I'm going to go Chicago.
Okay. Kobe, go.
The West, y'all pretty much nailed it. I said it in the earlier podcast when I first started doing this, that I said I have the Grizzlies in the Western Conference Finals, but I didn't say they were going to win it. I said they were going to get there, but I don't think they were going to win it. I have the Warriors coming out of that. If Chris Paul and the Suns can get back healthy again, then they ain't going to win. But if he can't, then I have the Warriors in the West Conference. The East right now, it's super tight, especially in the top 6, because you got Miami, Chicago, Philly, Cleveland, Milwaukee, and don't sleep on Milwaukee. A lot of people are sleeping on them, but they're just doing their same thing like they did last year. And then Boston. So it's super tight in the East, but in the East, Philly, Joel Embiid is having an MVP season. I think he is. But with adding James Harden, I just don't think that's just not going to happen. I don't think. So for me right now, I'm going to say Chicago right now, but it's so close in the East, it's super tight. But I have Chicago.
Kayla?
For me, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because it isn't like glow green. Okay, so for the West, I like the Suns until Chris got hurt, but now I'm saying Golden State because I think Clay, like y'all said, Clay will be back in playoff shape. And then for the East, I'm liking Miami. I think they're really entertaining to watch. I've been watching them the most, to be honest, or Milwaukee. Either one of them.
Okay. So here are my thoughts on the West. Okay. Yeah, Chris Paul is out for how long now?
6 to 8.
6 to 8.
He's getting reevaluated 6 to 8.
Now look, I don't know if y'all seen the chemistry on that floor, even with Chris Paul off. Coach Monty Williams has an amazing offensive plan. They're very unique with the way that they play really good with back screens, and they're playing some old school styles of basketball, which makes them win so well. And they're not always shooting the three like they may be. I mean, Cam Johnson's doing great, obviously, from the 3-point line, and Devin Booker as well. But I honestly think they can maintain this pressure, and in 6 to 8 weeks, that'll be I think right in time for playoffs. So I mean, I think honestly, I don't know. I think it's going to go to 7 games with the Warriors in the Western Conference Final, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the Suns pull it out. But honestly, gosh, I want to see Curry get there again. And Kuminga's doing great too. Okay, yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing, though. It's reevaluated. So if they
you're
reevaluate him and he still doesn't come back, that's the only thing that scares me.
Okay, if the Warriors have Draymond Green, sorry, it's a sweep. Because Draymond Green, the way he can facilitate for Clay and Steph, he's such a good facilitator, and his defensive rebounds is insane. So give it to the Warriors in 7 games. They're going there. The Eastern Conference, I've never been this excited in the past 5 years to watch the Eastern Conference playoffs. Everyone is at each other's necks. The seedings change every day. I could go take a 10-minute nap, wake up, and somebody in the fourth could be in the first. I don't know why it is how it is, but man, oh my gosh, do I love Philly so much right now. Do I love Joel Embiid right now? This guy has his MVP year, and I swear to God, man, every single year he gets so hot going out of the All-Star break, the man hurts his back. Knocking on wood. If this man hurts his back, you heard it here first. This guy needs to stop eating McDonald's cheeseburgers and needs to stretch his back. I'm not being rude. He said that his first few years here, he was addicted to McDonald's cheeseburgers. That's on interview.
You can tell that to Zion if you want to.
Oh, yeah, tell the Zion. Man, they know him by name at Domino's, bro. He's over there getting the same order every week. But look, Cleveland doing amazing. Love Cleveland. But no, the Eastern Conference, I'm sorry, here it is. You got to respect the reigning champs. It's going to be the Bucks getting there again. I'm sorry. There's just no one is ever going to be able to stop Giannis. I've never seen a defensive plan that works now. The man's making his free throws now. He has mid-range down now.
I've seen two plans work.
Yeah, so all I'm going to say is that Milwaukee has a chance to go again. I really think they do. Chicago's great, but I feel like for Chicago to be truly great, they're going to have to experience loss. That's what gets a lot of people with a chip on their shoulder going to the next season. They'll be even more powerful next year. Sorry, Miami still isn't going to be able to get it done. I think they're great. They're fun, but no, you won't be able to get it done. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's going to be an Eastern Conference final between Philly and Milwaukee. Milwaukee's going to win.
And the reason why I think the East is so crazy, because you just said that. I think if Miami and Milwaukee meet up second round, Miami's winning that series. But I think if Chicago and Milwaukee meet up, I think Milwaukee edges it out barely.
Oh, yeah.
But then Miami and Chicago, I think Chicago edges it out.
So
it's like all threes, like what combination do you want? And then let's not sleep on Cleveland. Like,
Oh, no.
I know they young, but they lucky Colin Sexton is hurt. This league is lucky Colin Sexton. Cavs would be a 1 seed if Colin Sexton was still here. And Ricky Rubio. They lost 2.
Mm-hmm.
If Ricky Rubio and Colin Sexton were here.
Well, they traded Ricky to go to the Indiana, so they got Karis LeVert. Karis LeVert's a great pickup.
I forgot about him. That's how crazy good they are.
They're good. And no, I think this Cavs team is great. They're really young, and they're not even spending a lot of money. None of these players cost a lot of money. You know what I mean? They're really young guys, and if you focus on practice and training, this team's going to be a threat for years to come. And that's what I kind of like about this league now. It's not as much of a superstar tandem. We got the big three split apart for good reason. Now they got Ben Simmons, who's going to average 4 points and an assist probably. We'll see how he can do. By the way, I don't know why no one's bringing this up, and I feel so bad for Ben Simmons, and I think this needs to be mentioned on some sort of level of media. The man, guess how much debt he is in for missing his games? He's in $19 million worth of debt from the NBA.
Serious?
$19 million worth of fines. The guy
Anytime
is
you
so
don't show up, they fine you.
Yeah,
they fine him. Yeah.
He is in therapy and all sorts of stuff because he is just literally, no one even talks about how that man got charged $19 million. And the only reason he didn't end up wanting to play is because Coach Doc Rivers publicly denounced him on TV the day they lost that game against, I think it was the Wizards last year.
No, it was to the Hawks.
Yeah,
and they did it, and then B did it too.
Yeah,
and B was more reluctant.
The media ridiculed him. Fans ridiculed him. Just imagine living in a city, the only place that gave you a chance, and then all of a sudden everyone – like I remember seeing a scene where it was like a trash can getting taken down the street like it was flooding rain in Philadelphia, and then the guy on the TV said, "Oh, look, it's Ben Simmons." So the thing is, like, people roast him to death. I do not want to play either. And he's in $19 million in debt, by the way, so that's going to take him a few years to pay off, more than that. So I feel bad for him.
Yeah, and this is and then we can wrap it up with this topic, but I'm glad you brought up Ben Simmons because I do want to say this. In fairness, though, he deserved it. In fairness, everybody who plays in the NBA is subject to criticism by everybody. Everybody can do that.
It's part of the game.
When you are getting locked up by Trae Young and you're passing up wide open dunks, bro. So like, I get it. You don't publicly come after your teammates. You perfect world press conference. No, don't come after one player. We all didn't do well enough. And then in private, be like, "Yo, Ben, I'm gonna need you to do your thing. I'm gonna need you to stop playing around. Get whatever demons are out your head because we need a win." And so that's my thing. But Ben Simmons has not lived up to what he should be. And the reason I say that, there is no reason he can't be another version of Giannis. There's no reason.
Right.
All he needs to do is because they both couldn't shoot free throws. Like, Giannis was, you foul him, get into the line. Don't let him just do what he wants. So they both couldn't make free throws. They both play excellent defense. Ben Simmons can guard 1 through 4. Ben Simmons is a much better facilitator and can run any offense at any position. There's no reason he can't be a top 5 player in this league without the shooting.
I completely agree with what your point is about how, like, I think that was a very, like, I think an NBA veteran would say the same thing as you, Isaiah, that in this league, you're going to face scrutiny. You're going to have media backlash. And you're going to have to learn how to be like that as a player and to brush that stuff off. And your teammates are not going to, they shouldn't publicly announce like, bro, he can't score. But honestly, let's imagine if Shaq was in the league still and say his teammate was crap, he would in the press conference say, "Yeah, this boy keep airballing." Like, I think Shaq would low-key say that, right? That's Shaq's personality. And Joel is kind of, it's like a mini Shaq sometimes.
So I feel like it's different when you say that, like, even though you still shouldn't do it anyway, it's different when you say he didn't play well, as opposed to he's the reason we didn't win.
Yeah.
Like, we should have benched him and we would have won. That to me,
that's a lot,
is a lot worse. But even then, like, and it's a double-edged sword because you shouldn't say that, but at the end of the day, bro, you really gonna sit out? Like, to me, it's like you're being a lot more sensitive. Like, he was being a baby for a lot of this.
I agree.
Yeah, he was.
I think what you said about Ben is really true. I mean, when it talks about him as a player, because in reality, we haven't seen – he was playing point guard coming into this league at this height. He was playing guard, okay? I'm going to say we haven't seen a tall guard like this since, like, Magic Johnson, okay? This was something that the Philadelphia management was extremely excited about. You don't get that type of a mismatch, size and speed, agility, dunking ability. He even had some mid-range once upon a time. We know he didn't have 3-pointers. Let's not talk about that. Man's like 1 for 4 in his whole career. But, basically what I'll say is that he's an exciting player. He has the skills. He has the size advantage. He just needs confidence. If you don't have confidence, man, you don't win basketball games. The best players in the world are the ones that are confident. The one that can put up 30 shots, and if they only made 2 of them, they'll still do it. Not throwing shade towards Harden in Game 7 of the Western Conference Final against the Warriors, which we should have won. You're an idiot. Sorry, but I'm a Rockets fan. But that's off topic. But yeah, let's see what Ben can do on Brooklyn. Chuck says they're going to be the scariest team in the league when he's back. I don't know what Chuck is on.
It's Charles Barkley, for crying out loud, people.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Remember, he has a guarantee button, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, that's wild. And we can get into this next episode because I don't want to be nasty. But I personally would be worried. And I would strongly dislike him if he used mental health just so that he didn't have to play. Because it's kind of looking like that. But like, there's people who legit go through mental health. Go through
that, exactly.
Legit, like, there's sometimes where it's so drastic they're being put on medication. You know what I mean? But you never.
Paul Pierce was stabbed 17 times and still won a championship the same year. 3 months later. There have been players that have been through way worse than he has, and they can win a championship. So I can't even – people forget about the truth like that. Paul Pierce, that man was a legend. Get stabbed 17 times, still survive and play and win a championship. Are you kidding? Like, why are we forgetting that? Like, what the heck?
Yeah, and so, like, for me, it's like, bro, if you lied about that little mental health thing, it just makes it worse, like, for everybody. Like, nobody's going to believe you have – like, he said he was claiming mental health because he knew if they tried to challenge him on it, it would look like, oh, so you don't care about mental health?
Exactly.
And nobody wants that issue. You know what I mean? So it's like, wow.
Well, do y'all not like see how that could be the case? Yeah, like y'all said, it was his teammates, it was his coach, it was everyone like around him, the city he lived in.
Shaq publicly said on the TNT show that he said he actually, and this is big for the Diesel to say this, but he's like, I'm going to stop getting on Ben Simmons' case. He's like, Ben Simmons called me last night and he told me about his situation, how things are with his therapist, and I'm going to stop hustling him. There's a lot of things that we don't really know behind the scenes. And he's like, I'm going to publicly say here that I'm done pounding on him, is what he said. So I don't know what's going on with Ben, and that's kind of the mystery. We don't know what's going on in his life besides that. I know he has all these other things with family, maybe stuff like that. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I mean, I could see it. I mean, I'm not going to hustle a guy. He's doing a career that I could never imagine doing. Playing 82 games a year is a lot on someone mentally, physically, and especially when you're playing for a team that doesn't even respect you. It could be a lot on you, honestly. But, if Shaq said that, I gotta cut that.
Yeah.
I know, it's Shaq, man.
Yeah, and I get you on that. That's why I said if it comes out, because when this trade was kind of getting closer to the deadline, there was reports coming out of that Sixers organization that were like, yo, Ben is just capping. He just wants to get out.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the
like,
beginning, I thought so, yeah. But as time went on, I was like, maybe.
Yeah, and if he is going through stuff, hey, bro, you do whatever you got to do to make yourself better, because mental health is important. I tell my girl that all the time. Hey, look, do not stress yourself out. If you need to take a break, take a day. Like, do what you got to do. But if it come out that he lied, he's nasty.
Yeah.
And bro, like we can't have that there. Like I feel like a suspension legit should come down, not just fines from a team. I'm talking about NBA. Like take it to the top if it comes out that he was just capping. But yeah, well, that is another episode of Claws to the Wall. If you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, leave a like, leave a comment. We want to hear all your thoughts and opinions. Thank you for joining us again. I am your host, Isayah Garner. I was joined by Justin, Koby, and Kayla. And y'all have a wonderful day.